What's going on, everyone? In this video I'm going to be talking with you about the 5 things that I love about my Cobalt SS. Now, I've already made a previous video to this titled 5 things I hate about my Cobalt SS, so if you haven't checked that video out, I highly recommend you do so after this one. Again, a little disclaimer on that video, those are just kind of 5 nitpicky things that I could find with the car. I love this car, and that's why I'm making this video today, to share some of those things with you. So number 1 on my list is the styling and the uniqueness of this car. I wish I could shake the hand of whoever designed this car, because I'm absolutely in love with the styling and I think they knocked it out of the park. The front fascia redesign, the lip, the side skirts, the rear diffuser thing, and of course the big wing, they all tie together to really make this car stand out and make it much more aggressive than a lot of things on the road, and especially other Cobalts. Compare this to a base model Cobalt, it's night and day. This thing blows it out of the water. It looks fantastic in my opinion, and I love that. To this day, I catch people checking it out all the time. People are always breaking necks when I drive by, or they'll come up and they'll ask me questions about my car. You know, people are always like, love your car. They'll give me the thumbs up and stuff like that. And that's absolutely awesome. It makes you feel great. It makes you feel like you're driving a supercar or something like that. You know, at the end of the day, it's just a Cobalt, but it's awesome seeing the attention that it gets, and you know, to see that people actually appreciate these cars and want to know more about them and stuff like that. The second thing I love about this car, and speaking of which, of unique, is the supercharger whine. Now, I know, the supercharged ones are slow. You should have got the turbo. Yes, the turbo one is faster from the factory. Yes, there are other cars from this era that were faster from the factory, but nothing can beat the uniqueness of a supercharged 4-cylinder tuner car. You rarely see it. I wanted something that was fun and unique, and that checked that right off, and I absolutely love it. When you put your foot on that throttle and you hear that supercharger start screaming, it is absolutely intoxicating and just such an awesome sensation that nothing can top that, in my opinion. The third thing on my list that I love about this car is the engine and how easy it is to mod. The engine in this car is known as the LSJ, and it actually started out its life as a Saab engine that was turbocharged. General Motors then took it and threw it in the Cobalt SS and the Saturn Ion Redline and supercharged it. The engine is super simple to mod and relatively inexpensive. You can get smaller pulleys, bigger injections, tunes for these cars, all for a really great price, and they add great power. You know, you can also throw an exhaust on it and an intake and things like that, and the car responds really well to mods. It's, you know, in my opinion and many other opinions, it's even happier when you mod it, when you free up that exhaust and you pulley down, give it some more power. It's just great. And not to mention the fact that, you know, you can even buy bigger superchargers that bolt right on and are super easy to install. You can also even turbo swap these cars and make really good power. These stock engines can make like 400 or 500 some horsepower stock. Throw a turbo kit on it and you're good to go. Since these cars started out as turbocharged, you know, you can find complete kits online that are relatively inexpensive. You can even go the route of, you know, piecing together your own. People are always selling parts for these cars that you can pick up. And again, I can't stress enough, it's all really relatively inexpensive, and the power and gains you can get is, you know, second to none. So the fourth thing that I love about this car is that you can tell that GM really wanted to make an enthusiast car. In a time where GM really wasn't making anything that great, it's exciting to see that somebody did care enough to really make this car shine. You know, it wasn't just about, oh, let's throw a body kit on the Cobalt and throw a SS badge on it and call it a day. No, they threw in a really capable and strong motor that could last like forever. There are guys out there who have been driving these things for hundreds of thousands of miles, and they say it's still like it's brand new. That's incredible. And then just also kind of the other little quirks that it has, such as like the factory auto meter boost gauge. You know, people, when they see that, they're like, you know, they love checking it out, and they're like, oh, that's nice, that's cool. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's stock. And they're always like blown away. They're like, it's stock? That's crazy. Like, you know, you don't really expect GM, especially from this time, to do something like that. And then you also have the factory cold air intake. I think part of the reason that they did a cold air intake from the factory was kind of to save space. You know, it's a pretty crammed engine bay in there, so I think it might have, you know, the way the supercharger's set up, it probably was easier for them to kind of route the intake tube and filter and stuff down into the fender well. But I imagine, and I like to think, that it was also because, you know, they were designing a enthusiast car, a supercharged performance car, so they threw in a factory cold air intake. And then lastly, it being a 5-speed manual. You know, I never knew how to drive stick before this car. This car was my gateway to that. You know, had to learn how to drive it then, and it's been an absolutely awesome experience. To be able to know and learn how to do a skill like that is cool. It's kind of fun to brag about, and just the experience and joy that you get out of it is just really fun and exciting. And last but not least on my list, number 5 is the opportunities and experiences and people that I've been able to meet because of this car. I've always loved cars ever since I was a young kid, as far as I can remember. And I don't think it was until I actually purchased and owned this car that love and passion and appreciation just skyrocketed. I've learned so much about cars since I've had this. It's been, you know, awesome, and I've been able to, you know, go to different events and take part in different experiences that I don't think I never would have had experience to otherwise. And I've been able to, you know, meet a bunch of awesome new people because of this new, you know, love and things like that. You know, the entire Cobalt SS community has been absolutely great. I've been able to meet some awesome people on there. So, you know, it's just kind of one of those things that's unforgettable, and it's just been so far an awesome experience owning this car. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to leave them below in the comments. I'd be happy to answer those. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.